here from the cooler to Rangeview to Fiji. How excited are all of you tonight? That being said, sit back, relax, and get ready for our first speaker, Ian Mariani.
Oh, sorry. I'll wait.
He'll get his time. Ian is a senior from Ventura, California. He is the president of BISI and a barista at the Green Bean. He gets inspiration from people who go and create new jobs opposed to following a traditional career path. When he is not making you delicious caramel macchiatos in the Green Bean, he can be enjoying some of his free time reading BuzzFeed. A fact not well known about Ian is that he once held a full-fledged military funeral for a deck of cards. Impressively, he swam against 2 future Olympians in high school in a regional swim meet and did not come in last. I give you Ian Mariani.
Thank you. As you said, my name is Ian Mariani, and tonight I'd like to talk to you about my experience with a term that's emerging in multiple fields. Oh, that's intimidating. Called virtual diplomacy. But first of all, thank you to the Ideas in Action team and everyone supporting entrepreneurship. It's one of the best organizations I've seen on campus in the last 4 years, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. So in order to tell you about this term, I have to tell you a story, and that takes us back 2 years to finals week 2011. My friend Zach and I had just finished our Arabic 101 final, and we were camped out in the Nuka Media Suite, leaving for only cooler fries and green bean coffee, trying to complete a term paper in one night. Around 1 a.m., we realized with only a third of the paper done, it wasn't going to happen, so we'd have to pull an all-nighter. At 3 a.m., we took turns running laps around the office trying to keep each other awake, and at one point we had a short, though epic, push-up contest. And I think I have a video of that. Yeah. He's at the UN, so he can't defend himself. I definitely won. So around 4 a.m., I told Zach in the plainest terms I could, sorry dude, I gotta go to work. But I didn't move. I put in my headphones and opened Skype. And I began my instantaneous journey to my workplace. But where was I going? I was going to the attached classroom at the American Embassy in Baku, Azerbaijan, about 7,000 miles away from that little room in Nuka. I was going to talk to kids ages 10 to 18 about literally anything. But why was I doing this? That was my job, as was given to me by the Virtual Student Foreign Service, an online-only internship program through the State Department. I Skyped into Baku twice a week at 4 in the morning, serving as a cultural ambassador for the program. I was one of a few hundred interns around the world working for the State Department in their first year of posts. The Virtual Student Foreign Service was announced by Secretary of State Hillary Clinton in 2009 at the NYU commencement address. There, she talked about how the service would be a big part in the global effort to utilize not only new media technologies, but the young people using them to further their diplomatic efforts. So when I said I could talk about anything, I was slightly exaggerating. As a cultural ambassador for the State Department, there were some topics that were off limits. Ethnic tensions with Armenia, the alleged role of Azerbaijan as a Western puppet in maintaining strike capabilities on Iran, and their troubled past as a Russian-Soviet satellite. Nope, couldn't talk about any of those things. The only things that I, as a DWA major and history geek, knew about the country. So instead, I just talked to the students about what they were studying, what they did on the day-to-day, and for the older ones, what their aspirations were when they graduated. And they asked me similar questions, like, is Southern California really like Baywatch? But also more nitpicky inquiries into my grammar or vocabulary. So that brings me back to where I was in the story, talking to students literally around the globe about everything under the sun, almost everything. But it was that Tuesday night, December 2011, where I truly realized how remarkable this program was, and how it could change the world. About 15 minutes into my session of a group of about 20 students, suddenly the camera went black. And I thought, as it was prone to do, the internet got given up. But, in fact, it was a piece of black fabric. A t-shirt, in fact. Worn by a 12-year-old boy who soon came away from the camera to reveal that it was a man swinging a guitar over his head intending to smash it. It was an image I'd seen many a time in my friend's garage. It was the cover of the 1979 album London Calling by The Clash. I naturally asked him about the shirt, and in impeccable English, he said that Joe Strummer, the man who wrote that album, was his hero, how London Calling had changed his life, and how every punk song he had listened to after that, which were a lot, had London Calling to thank. And I was blown away. This kid was literally worlds away from London. And while he might not have understood exactly what Strummer was thinking about, I don't know, any of us do, the themes of London Calling held true. Ethnic tension, social displacement, unemployment, poverty, all these things that this 12-year-old understood just as good as any American or Londoner might. For me now, virtual diplomacy suddenly wasn't some side project. It had the potential to be the next big project. So where's the program now? In its third year, the service posted 276 opportunities, and now just not embassies abroad, but also departments within the US government, like state, interior, commerce, and education. They received 2,700 applications for those posts. And, thankfully, I was accepted again into the program, now working at the Bureau of Arms Control, Verification, and Compliance at the State Department, working on my COPS proposal all the while. So, that's all well and good, but can it change the world? How can it help anyone in this room who doesn't like The Clash? And why does it matter? Why does it matter now? It's because, as has happened in human history, technological improvement has far outpaced our ability to utilize it. In addition, we, the millennials, Gen Y, whatever you want to call us, have grown up with this technology, making us prime candidates, if not the best candidates, to put this technology to the use in the causes that we care about. It's like this. With 2 internet connections, you can communicate with someone in the same way that a professional, diplomat, or business person does. And it doesn't have to be just one person. It can be a classroom full like I was doing, or it can be a whole government if they accept your friend request. Using our imagination, we can see virtual diplomacy being applied to many different sectors. Government programs like the service can be complemented in business or nonprofit. Imagine for a second the Goldman CEO hiring young econ majors like some of you out here to Skype with their stockholders to find out what you wanted your money to go towards. Or a nonprofit doing a build site in Africa, being able to communicate with the people on the ground with just a satellite phone. And of course, the people now using virtual diplomacy are ahead of the curve. I've met people in the State Department I never would have met living at Oxy. I put social media as a skill on LinkedIn, and for once not meant that I knew how to use GIFs to describe how my final speak was going. And it's also my personal story. It's my point of difference. No matter if the entire world got involved in virtual diplomacy, no 2 stories would be the same. And I'm not the only one who thinks it's the next big thing. The Economist, the World Bank, even the State Department now has a Department of E-Diplomacy. But there's always a sense of untapped potential. No matter how much we're doing now, there could always be more. Because the internet doesn't care who you are. Even if you're a college student or a Nobel laureate, you can take your ideas global from anywhere. I want to do a little experiment, kind of like what you were doing, because I have a feeling there are a lot of passionate people in this room. Raise your hand and keep it raised if you're passionate about making a difference in your subfield. Now, keep your hand raised if, other than Oxy AirNet problems, you have a working internet connection. So, you can put your hand. So what are we waiting for? This world can literally at our fingertips if we know where to look. And while you take the time to finish up your degrees, let's just say you aren't, in your spare time, Skyping across the world to make a difference now. Take a look. This is your new office, where your coworkers might be continents away, but you're still on the same page. This is your new boss. Maybe, we'll see. Who's getting to know her new BlackBerry, but also getting to know that you might be the next big way to reach out to the public. These are your new tools. They're almost entirely free, and those companies are updating their programs daily to make them better. And this is the future. People meeting people without so much as a handshake, but all the while sharing ideas still about how to make the world a better place. The internet makes us all ambassadors, diplomats, and even revolutionaries if that's what we want to be. To draw from the words of Joe Strummer, the future is unwritten. Thank you.